Welcome to the Ride of My Life podcast. I'm Caroline Rena, and I will be sharing with you what it's going to be like to go out on the road for a few months while working through emotions and challenges that go along with it. As I develop my knowledge and awareness, I hope to connect with you while I'm on this journey. Hey everyone, I'm Caroline, and I'm sure some of you have been reading, listening, or watching to what I've been posting for a while now. And thank you. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. Today is an interesting day, and I'm going to share a part of myself that I don't normally talk about, let alone put out there on something like this. But I feel like it's a good day to be said. Today is Veterans Day, and I am a veteran. I never liked to put that out there because of the traumatic experiences I dealt with while in the military. Please note that it wasn't in any war situation that I dealt with personally. However, I was involved in the deployment process of sending lives out to fight for this country. And that was very trying for me because I always, my head imagined. So, and of course I have children, so it was tricky for me. But some of those lives who came home are homeless, desperately looking for assistance and not finding it. And there are still people out there who that's happening with. And some of them never came back. And I'd like to do a moment of silence for those, all of us. Okay. Okay, for those who did make it back, these men and women are in a totally different space than they were when they left. And I know it, I've seen it. My father served in Vietnam. So for those of you that are seeing this, there are places out there, those veterans, there are places out there that help. And my hope is that if you are in a situation that you reach out, the help is available. I've seen a lot of civilian groups popping up to help, such as groups that do yoga for warriors, which is fantastic. And I highly recommend finding something like that because yoga really helps with the body, mind, healing process. I say, go find them. Don't try to do this alone. Alone doesn't work. I've been there on my healing journey and I've talked about it many times. And, you know, sometimes we make alone a choice where there are people out there who want to help. So just hopefully you hear me when I say that. So for me, 5 out of the 8 years of being in the Army, I was in a situation of being sexually harassed through comments and advances towards me. And I honor myself and anyone who has gone through this. It's not a good feeling. And it becomes part of something called complex PTSD. I don't know if everyone knows what that is, but it is a thing. I'll explain it. On this day, I want to say that from trauma I went through as a child and as an adult, I also went through 30 years of healing from that. And it's been a really powerful journey. But complex PTSD, for those of you who don't know, it's a little different than PTSD. Both are from trauma that was experienced, whether it was like this big major trauma or even little micro traumas. Micro traumas being, you know, being dropped off at daycare and someone turning and leaving when you're little. That would be what might be considered a micro trauma. Both can cause depression, anxiety, fear, among many other tough to deal with feelings, and sometimes will cause suicidal ideation or suicide in many cases. And a lot of people are going through that right now because we've been through a lot of trauma over the last couple of years and really over many lifetimes in this, or many times in this life, many lifetimes. Now, where PTSD causes visual, auditory, kind of basically physical flashbacks, and reactions to the trauma. Complex PTSD can ride alone as emotional flashbacks from childhood and adult trauma, or it can be part of PTSD because it's an accumulation of emotions, which also go along with trauma, which are stored inside our body. And this could be from any type of trauma. So I will say there was a time in my early 20s where I went through suicidal ideation, and somehow, I don't know, I made the decision not to do anything about it. And, maybe I was meant to be here. Maybe, I don't know. And nobody knows that either until now. So there's a lot coming up that I'm willing to share. And I think it's important. So there's a connection that I that I get it to a point in some cases and fully in other cases. So the culmination of that story is this chapter, The Ride of My Life. I went through a lot while healing because that takes a lot of emotion to work through things. And it took a long time, and I'm working with others now because I have learned how to condense that time frame into shorter lengths. Yay. I found ways to get it down to like 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on what somebody needs. It could be a little bit longer than that, whatever the need is. And I'm really, honestly, I'm blown away by that because it took me all this time to get to this point. And I wish it hadn't taken this long. What can I do about that? Nothing. And at the same time, I guess it was meant to be that way. So I really got it down pat now. I'm grateful to have gone through what I did. And because I went through a lot, I can do this now. And so anyway, I feel I'm on this planet in whatever capacity shows up for me to guide others past what may be holding them back in order to transform their lives. I feel it in my bones. I'm very passionate and care that as many people as I can touch, assist, don't have to continue to go through what I went through. I help people who are stuck at a point and ready to go deeper into clearing all of that stuff through grief, inner child work, generational trauma, whatever is happening in the moment to get through it. Those are just the tools that I use, which I've used on myself. So that's why I share that. What does this have to do with getting in my car and going out on the road? You might be asking. Okay, well, this is part of it because it is something I've wanted to do my whole life. And I held myself back because of all of the fears I've had from what I went through. So it's like this circle, this coming around, back around to kind of walk through it in a different way and be out there and connect. And, that's what it has to do with. So I'm doing it now. I'm bringing it all along with me. And I don't know what this ride's going to look like, but I can tell you this. It's for anyone who's ever experienced trauma in any capacity. It's for anyone who has ever felt alone or lonely. It's for anyone who has ever been afraid. It's for anyone who has ever been stuck in their life thinking there was nothing that could be done and that it was their fate. I'm here to say that it's not. I've been through or thought about all these things and more. And I can tell you now that whatever ambitions and goals you may have in this life, this work will help clear and heal that if you are ready and willing to be free from it. It's big stuff and it's deep and it can be, it's not an easy ride, but it's definitely worth it. So into this ride. Okay, so I'm just going to say, if you happen to be interested in working with me and breaking through, let me know. And again, I will say it's not easy work. It's not for the faint of heart. It's powerful. It got me here, or I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you doing what I'm doing. And I keep moving forward and getting unstuck. So now that I'm preparing to get out on the road, I have the vehicle. I showed it. I brought it out yesterday. I am preparing. I'm staying as a snowbird in Florida, where it's nice and warm, sort of. and preparing for my journey, which probably won't happen until after the winter subsides a little bit, because I don't do good in snow and real cold. So anyway, maybe I'll see you out on the road as I go on this journey. And again, thank you for being here on this ride of my life, and see where it takes us next. All right. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next run. Bye.